Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective, where you get a little bit of something and a whole lot of everything. Happy Thursday. It is Thursday, and we're nearing the end of the week. Last show of the week. It's also a couple days here in the United States to Independence Day. 250 years. 250 years. I know. I was only 3 when the bicentennial happened, but wow. It's funny, right? Because 250 years doesn't seem that long. And yet when you look back, it feels like forever ago. I mean, not that I was there, but look, you never know. Maybe in another life. But, but anyways, so yeah, I have another thing I'm going to read today. And this one I wrote. This one is, as I'm going to clarify in here, something I've been working on or trying to think about and write for 2 weeks. And it's kind of taken up my entire thought process. And I haven't been able to write anything else. I haven't even been able to write this. My brain has just been so kind of discombobulated. Just to preface it, I was trying to write what I thought patriotism meant to me. But, we read Lady Liberty's, Good Morning, Muddy, from the steam bath of the South. You poor thing, right? I mean, the weather there is just beyond rude now. It's beyond rude. It's just mean, straight out torture, mean. But anyways, I've been, excuse me, I've been trying to figure out how to write about patriotism and what it means to me. But like I said, Lady Liberty kind of in that article that she wrote kind of covered a lot of that. It's the very small things. So we kind of talked about that. So that kind of pulled away from what I was trying to write. And then I kept having all these speeches that kept rolling through my head. Excuse me. And I kept thinking, okay, well, am I supposed to, is someone trying to tell me to incorporate these things into it? So needless to say, it was a difficult write because I wanted to get it right. I wanted to get it to how I feel right now, yeah. So anyways, I did write it in here. So we'll talk about it after, all right? But first and foremost, Happy Independence Day #1. Because John Adams, who actually ended up being one of the presidents, I don't know if he was a second or third. I know, terrible. I don't know. I don't go that far back. I should. When I was a kid, I knew them all. But in honor of John Adams, Happy Independence Day #1. This is the day the Continental Congress voted on the Declaration of Independence. So, but it was mostly accepted and signed, I believe, on the 4th. So this was the day that they voted on it to make it a thing. So he always felt that today should be the 4th of July, or, Independence Day, not the 4th of July. But, we can have both, right? I mean, but there is one that's only an official holiday, but I still say we can have more than one. Come on. So anyways, let's go. Like I said, I wrote this down because I wanted to make sure I don't trip over my words. So I might trip over my writing, so I'm just giving you that warning now. I have been trying to write this for 2 weeks. In the meantime, I have read Lady Liberty's rally cry with her analysis of how the World Cup has helped remind us what we are fighting for in this country. I have read the Declaration of Independence, which is a clear reminder of what our forefathers were fighting for when they chose to break from Great Britain. But the last year and a half has tested me. It has tested my resolve, my faith that this country will find its way back from the self-serving agenda and mess caused by this administration. Reading that article and the defining text of the Declaration reminded me of the great people that fought and marched and the speeches they gave that reflected their patriotism, from I Have a Dream to 7 years ago, to a document promising we the people, and the words, we hold these truths to be self-evident. They were all fighting for the direction of America, fighting for the progress of all of her people who were seeking life and liberty. 2 of them even died for it at the hands of racism. And there were so many more people and so many more speeches. And yet here we are, 250 years later, and it is still a dream. Progress has been halted and parts of it already being rewound like a videotape to Blockbuster. Be kind, and this time don't rewind. But while they have left us fatigued, let us remember those famous people, their famous speeches, how tired and exhausted they might have felt fighting a battle that we are still fighting today because of those who have cheated their way into the White House for their own personal and self-serving interests, who have told us to our faces that they don't care about America. But remember, at points of the Revolution and even the Civil War, we were on our knees. But we rose up and we won, and we will win again. Progress must no longer be a dream spoken of in speeches. It must become something we build. We must acknowledge the wounds of this already great nation and heal them, not with a band-aid, but with the real change and courage that benefits everyone. We were, are, and will once more be the land of opportunity, not just for the self-serving living high on the hill, but for all, because that was the original dream. So when you put your patriotism on display this weekend, remember the why of what America is and the dream of our forefathers foreshadowed when writing the Constitution, not just for one race, but for all the people, of any color, race, creed, or gender identity that call the United States home. That went in a direction. Last night I spent 2 hours just writing, editing, all that. It went in a direction I wasn't expecting. I was wanting to talk about what patriotism meant to me, because I do love this country. I am devoted to this country. And I was reminded this week, with all the different shows we did on Tuesday and Wednesday, of why we fight for her. But while I was writing this, I was also reminded of the fact that, we weren't always the forerunners in the Revolutionary War. We weren't always the forerunners in the Civil War, and even in the World Wars, right? There was a lot of problems happening, and it took a long time because, we weren't always the forerunners. But good always prevailed. Evil always died. And whether or not you agree with me about how I feel about those perched in the White House right now, which is the people's house, not his house, not a palace, not a throne. It's the people's house. And yes, you heard me say cheated, because I really do believe they did. I'm sorry. And maybe they didn't. I don't know. But at least, one group of people had more decorum to not storm the Capitol in hiding behind the flag. Don't hide behind my flag. Don't you dare hide behind my flag. My flag represents everybody. Our founding fathers, yes, they had slaves. One of them even fell in love with one of his, and had babies with her. But here's the thing. I can't fix what happened back then, but they knew. They knew that one day this world and this country was going to change. They knew it would change for the people that live here. They knew it would change for the people coming to live here. They knew it would change for the people that they were sweeping off their own lands, who had been here for thousands of years. They knew. They never said it was going to be pretty. They never said it was going to be ugly. But they foreshadowed all of this. That's what the Constitution was about. It was to make sure that things that are happening in this country now did not happen again. Just because you wave a big-ass flag on the back of your truck doesn't mean you're patriotic. It doesn't mean you love this country. To love this country, in my personal opinion, is to fly that flag and remember who she's for. Every single person. The undocumented person who's raising their first generation children. The mother and father whose child at 4 or 5 years old told them, I'm not a boy, I'm a girl. And who have since, followed and documented her process. It's her brother who fights for her. It's Dr. King marching arm in arm against racism. It's even Malcolm X out there speaking against racism. It's Abraham Lincoln fighting the Great War of this country and being president and then being killed because he won. It's the rally cry of World War II. And not just the men who joined up and the soldiers who joined up, but also the Nisei soldiers who were in encampments, there are West Coast Japanese people that we threw into camps. But we didn't throw the German people into camps, but we threw the Japanese people into camps, right? And yet they still wanted to fight for this country. And not just fight for this country, they wanted to fight for this country because they loved this country and because they needed to prove that they were not the enemy. For our African American soldiers who were told they weren't good enough, even when, the Tuskegee experiment, right? They never lost a bomber. Those Red Tails never lost a bomber. Never lost a bomber. Think about that. And they didn't get to fly that long. Imagine if people wouldn't have thought of them as so inferior, how many more of our men may not have died? Not because they followed directions well, but because they knew their mission. And their mission was to protect. Patriotism, to me, used to be just holding my hand over my heart and singing the national anthem, knowing every single word to God Bless America as well, knowing the Pledge of Allegiance. But it's more than that. It's more than that. Yes, that's a good part of it. And yes, it is good to be respectful. Remove your hats. They always say the women don't have to remove their hats, but I always removed my hat. An older sibling and I had season seats to our hockey team. I always removed. If I wore a beret or a hat, I removed it, hand over heart. But it's more than that. Patriotism is not marginalizing those who are different. It's following the path that was laid out before us 250 years ago to be free. Almost every single thing we read in that Declaration of Independence yesterday is literally almost parallel to what we're dealing with now in this second administration of that goofball in the White House. And I'm sorry. I've always respected the other presidents. I will not respect this one because he doesn't love my country. He doesn't respect my country. As older sibling would say, he uses that an ATM. Then he tried to get money to pay for the people who attacked the Capitol. But they had to put the kibosh on that because everybody knew what it was for. No. Okay? No. They killed officers. Officers died in the line of duty. Officers were beaten by these people. These same people who fly that flag with the blue stripe in it, right? The black and white flag with the blue stripe of the United States that are supposed to, back the blue. These are the same people. And those who side with them politically they just turned a blind eye. Well, I don't know. I don't know why they would do that. It's not something I would do. No, condemn it, because that's exactly what needed to be done. You needed to condemn it. They defecated on the desk in what was it, the Senate or the Congress? Although I will say that guy later apologized. But a little too late, right? These officers that were attacked, the ones that didn't die, the ones that didn't take their own life, they're ruined forever. You have taken their job away from them. You have taken their dream away from them, which was protecting the Capitol. You stole a part of their soul for your own stupidity. And that's exactly what it was. On what planet is it ever okay to attack a Capitol or government building? It's not. But we're exactly where they want us to be, right? They have divided us. Now they're trying to conquer us. And I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of people on the left that are saying, I talked about this yesterday, I'm not going to forgive you. You shouldn't be forgiven. Look at everything you've done and blah, blah, blah. This is what growth is. Growth is ugly. And the one thing this administration did right, the one thing they did right, in my personal opinion, is they have opened our eyes to how not near the American dream our forefathers had. We're not close to it. We still have a black eye on this country. We still have open wounds. I mean, we're back to the point now where we're fighting for civil rights again. Not just for gay people this time, but for the people of color. Because they're trying to take that. We're fighting once again for women's rights. We're fighting once again for voting rights. If you don't have a passport, save your pennies and go get them, because you're probably going to need that or your birth certificate to vote now. Because that's what they're doing. They're trying to stifle the American public because they know the majority of them don't have a passport. So get your birth certificates ready and be ready to bring them. Okay? To prove. And why? Here's the thing. They're always complaining about voter fraud. But guess who the majority of people have been arrested for voter fraud? That's right. The administration's people. This one. Open your eyes. If you were a true patriot, you would see what's happening in this country now. A true patriot isn't racist, all right? I don't care if the forefathers had slaves. They knew one day they wouldn't. England was already in the process of abolishing it, if they hadn't already. What is wrong with us? What is wrong with them? Yes, well, make sure make sure your birth certificates are the original, or original copies. Okay, and original copies means you can get that from the registrar thank you, older sibling. You can get those from the registrar. You can order them even online from the registrar of the city or the county where you were born. Now, fortunately for me, I have a passport, but I always lose my birth certificate. So not only do I have my original, found another original, that my dad has still, but also I found I have 3 copies laying all over the place. I have one in a safe deposit box. I have one sitting in an elephant on the sink at home, and I have one here. I think I still have it here. I know, they're everywhere, but my birth certificates breed. Okay, I didn't breed, but they did. So, but make sure they're the original or the original copies. All right, so make sure it has that official county seal on it. It's important. All right, and I know it does cost money. I know it takes time if you go down. That's why I'm telling you, a lot of counties will do it online. Because I was born in Hawaii, so I had to order mine. I mean, obviously, I couldn't just go there, right? I had to order mine, all right? And if you were born abroad, but to an American family, be sure to make sure that is noted, okay? Because a lot of times, like my cousin was born on a military base, all right? Because her father was in the Navy, I think. But anyway, yeah. I could go on about this all day, okay? There are going to be people who may see this. I doubt it. They'll go, that's not patriotism. I'm going to fly my flag off the back of my truck. No. Sorry, I don't know where that voice came from. And a lot of people who do fly their flags off their cars are very patriotic. I'm just talking about you racists and you prejudice and you bigoted misogynists out there. You guys can fuck all the way off because you're not patriotic. You do not understand what the dream of this country was. You understand what the dream of this country was for you, but you don't understand what the dream of this country was for everybody across the board. Muddies all the voice fits though. I didn't mean to go in that direction because there's a lot of good people with that voice that are not bad or stupid. So, but yeah, it's just, it blows my mind. It blows my mind. I always tell older sibling that in a small way, we kind of live in a bubble being in California because, where our rights are currently still protected. But I have learned in the last year and a half not to take any of that for granted. I've learned in the last several years since they got rid of Roe v. Wade that not to take any of that for granted. Oh, good morning, T. Aw, it's good to see you. But so yeah, not to take any of that for granted either. Like I said, on my mom's side, I'm only third generation American. But there's so many beautiful people that come here, that raise their children here, their first generation children, that want to see them have the opportunities they never had. And that's important. That's important. Because, they want the dream for their children. And we can't let an administration take that from them. I do believe that the Supreme Court upheld birthright citizenship. So thank goodness for that. But that being said, and everything I just read, yeah, that's what America means to me. It's the Pledge of Allegiance with or without God in it. Because I'm going to tell you this right now, for all you people who sit there and go, God should be in the Pledge of Allegiance. Blah, blah. Shut up, Karen. Okay? Because God wasn't put into the Pledge of Allegiance until the 20th century. Mid-20th century. So the Pledge of Allegiance, however old it was, existed that long before religion got a hold of it. And I'm not have anything against religion. I'm a lapsed Catholic myself. I believe in God. But I don't believe in a Christian nationalist God. I believe in my Christian friends. I believe in my Catholic friends. I don't have any Muslim friends. I do have Jewish friends. But I believe in all my friends. I believe in all the people that I love. No matter how they identify, whatever color they are, whatever. Because that's the American dream. We're a melting pot, kids. And the sooner these people who sit on their perch thinking that, they're better again, running around without their white hoods on this time, you need to know that we're coming for you. And we're not going to stop until we save her. Because she's worth saving. The Statue of Liberty is a symbol. But she's not just a symbol. She was the idea and the brainchild of an abolitionist who was so enamored by the work that President Lincoln did that he wanted to give this country something for her first century of being in existence. A lot of people don't know that, right? That she was the brainchild of an abolitionist. And it took a while for her to go up. It took a long while for her to go up. But because, they had to build a pedestal, they had to do all these things. But, she has a poem on her plaque on the inside of her pedestal that reminds us. It's a longer poem, The New Colossus, but the words, right? Send me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, so that they may breathe free again, or something along those lines. And right now, in my personal opinion, I feel like we are the tired and the huddled masses yearning to breathe free again. And I'm sorry if anybody watches this and disagrees with my politics on this, but I have never, ever made it not known that I have not trusted this administration. I have not trusted this administration since the first time they were in administration. I left the party for that very reason, because I did not trust this administration. And I saw the writing on the wall 10 years ago. People thought I was nuts. And lots of people saw the writing on the wall. If you knew anything about this man sitting in the White House right now, you would know that he's not a good person, that he cheats people out of money, that he hires people to do work, then doesn't pay them. This is all documented. This is all fact. A real religious person is not going to profile in front of a church holding a Bible without going in. He'd probably incinerate if he walked in. I mean, Jesus, the Pope isn't even that bad. And he is a religious, he's basically a holy figure or a holy relic of sorts, like a living relic of the Catholic Church. You don't see him doing this outside of a church. So, yes, they did. Wait, hold on, sibling. Yes, they did what? Sorry. When I'm going, I don't always remember what I say. So, look, a hummingbird. Hello, little baby. But anyways, I can talk myself into the floor, But I think I made my point. It's funny. I just looked down and I have a sticker on my computer. Don't let the bad days win. So let's not let the bad days win, all right? The United States is worth fighting for. She's a beautiful, beautiful country. She is basically like 50 little countries. I'm just going to give you a little tidbit on that one, okay? So I watch a lot of YouTube when I'm going to bed to kind of help settle my brain because, apparently I've been diagnosed with ADHD. Who knew, right? I mean, I guess I should have known. Signs were always there. But I need to settle my brain at night because my brain is always going. And so, anyways, I don't even know if that has anything to do with it. My brain is just going. Oh yeah, birthright citizenship. Thank you, older sibling. Yes, they did uphold it. Thank goodness they finally did something right. But anyways, so I was watching this, it's called Lad Bible, but they do these little snack wars. Like instead of coming in and doing like a regular press junket with people, they will have them in and just kind of give them snacks from their country and then like whatever country they're interviewing them in. So they did one where they were in England and it was like American snacks versus British snacks. And I was laughing because this is how I know that a lot of people don't realize that just because we're the United States of America, we are 50 little countries who are united in America. Hawaiian food is different. Mexican food along the southern rim is different. Even in Colorado, it's different, right? And like you find different kind of Mexican food along the Mexican border from California to Arizona to New Mexico to Texas. And, everything varies. Everything varies. And so this one person who I can't remember what it was like, I've never heard of this snack. And they're all, well, it's from the US. And they're all, you don't understand. I'm not from this region. It was something from the South. And I can't remember what it was, but I was like, whoa, I got to try that. I wish I remembered what it was. I think I wrote it down in my journal, but I don't know which one. So there you go. One day I'll find it and go, oh, hey, let's take a trip to the South. But anyways, but we need to be united again. Patriotism to me is loving this country and fighting for her, just like everyone before us did. One day, hopefully one day, we will not have to keep fighting for the rights of our people. That people who do come here will, that the people that do come here will get their due process, that will have their rights, honored. Because that was also the dream. They talked about that in the Declaration of Independence. People will immigrate here, and they deserve unalienable or alienable, I don't know, rights. They deserve rights, all right, and they deserve due process. And you can't arrest somebody on the court steps who are going in following the law. That should be against the law. Where they wait for them to come up the court steps and then they arrest them before they can even go in for their hearing. That's bullshit, okay? Fuck ICE. I'm sorry, but fuck them all the way to hell because they're horrible. They're horrible. And for all of them in there who are Christian nationalists, not Christians, Christian nationalists, God is watching you. Yeah, I have on good authority that God is watching you. You're going to pay in the end. That's the one thing that brings me joy. Yes, that's right. Maybe not fire and brimstone, but purgatory is looking pretty good for you guys. Limbo. Who wants to live in limbo, right? But anyway, all right. I got a little away from myself. I got a little carried away with myself there. But anyways, I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. After all that, fuck you. Have a great day. Sorry. Anyway, okay, so Sammy says Mexican food here is very different from out west with our white cheese. White cheese? What kind of white cheese? I don't know why that sounds actually pretty good. But white cheese is good because I know like cheddar cheese, older sibling can't have cheddar because the dye in it gives her hives, right? But white, I don't know. Well, is it like the cotija cheese? That's white. And they do have like the mixed cheese, like they call it the Mexican mixed cheese for like to put on top. I don't know, Muddy. That's starting to sound pretty good. I may have to come visit you. Not because of the Mexican food, because of you. But then we'll have to go have Mexican. Oh, I'm ridiculous. Anyway. And you know what's funny? I was talking about the Mexican food in Colorado, but I'm not sure older sibling and I have ever had Mexican food in Colorado. I know. It's like we have everything but, so I don't know. We gotta attempt that. We have to attempt that. But I do know people in that live in Colorado that said their Mexican food that have lived in California and said the Mexican food is a little different. So and here's the fun part. California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas all think they have the best Mexican food. So anyway, all right, I know. I'm not punchy, I swear. I'm just kind of... This is me just being so dumb. Just so fed up with this country right now. Not even the country, the administration. So Muddy says, my friend who moved to Denver and then California always wanted to eat Mexican food here when she visited because of the cheese. Okay, see? You know me. I am a cheese hoe. Okay? Pen hoe, cheese hoe. Oh. So T says it's different here in Colorado from county to county and city by city. That's interesting. Well, you figure, right? The migration of those who do, come from Mexico and make the Mexican food, they probably do spread out, and they may, because I think Colorado sits above what, New Mexico, Texas, and it sits above New Mexico, but then Texas is over to the bottom left of them, and Arizona's to the bottom right. So I could see how that could vary by county. Oh, this is a Mexican tour going through Colorado now. So I think I might be hungry. Or I'm craving Mexican food. It sounds so good right now. We have some little mom and pop shops out here. Oh my God, they make the best taquitos. I know we were talking about patriotism, but now we're talking about food. All right. So, like I said, a little bit of something, whole lot of everything. But yeah, oh my God, and they smother it in cheese. You guys know me. I'm a journal hoe, a pen hoe, and a cheese hoe. And bread. These are the 4 things I could not live without in my life, besides water. But obviously, I need to hydrate or I'll shrivel up and die. But oh, yeah. I know people are like, what about Guinness? But yeah, I love me some Guinness. But if I was only given 4 things, I would sneak that in a bag somewhere. But yeah, okay, so Muddy says that's it. It's where the Latino people are from that makes a difference. It really is. It really, really is. But then, you get people who are like, I remember somebody, they were like Italian and Mexican. Was it older sibling that was telling me about that? And it was so cute because the name of the restaurant reflected. But they did fusion before fusion was famous, okay? Or before fusion became the thing. But they did fusion, and it was kind of like, whoa, damn. But yeah, it's amazing. That's what I love about this country. It's a melting pot. In California, it's like, what, do you want Mexican? You want Chinese? You want Thai? You want Vietnamese? You want American? You want Middle Eastern? You want curry? What do you want? And that's just in my dad's area. At home, even more. like options coming out of your eyeballs. No wonder we're all so fat. But sorry, that was uncalled for. But hey, as long as you're enjoying it and gloriously happy. But somebody says I can't live without cheese either. That's why I'm not vegan, just vegetarian. Hey, I can understand that, right? Who does not want cheese on their broccoli? Although, you know what's funny? I'm not going to lie. I don't like cheese on my broccoli. I like my broccoli straight. Straight. No chaser. Ooh. T says, I'm not a dark beer fan, but if you were ever in Utah, they have one called Polygamy. It's so good. Oh my God, that is funny. I've got to try that. Okay, so Utah, another stop. Or just do the Four Corners, right? Is Utah part of the Four Corners? I can't remember. But yeah, we'll just, no, I don't think it is. I think it's on the other side of Colorado. But yeah, we'll do a tour. Do a Southwest tour. We're just over here in the 5 bazillion states. In fact, so I know I wished everybody a good day, and then we ended up on food. But I have to tell you, so one of my favorite things in the whole wide world are chimichangas. And even though the place is no longer there, I got to eat a chimichanga in the place where it was born. Not my favorite chimichanga, though, to be honest with you. But it was awesome. You know, it's like visiting the capital, like where your country was. Actually, it's like visiting Philadelphia, where the country was born. But anyways, all right, I promise this time. I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. A little bit of warnings for the 4th of July. Please, please, please keep your pets indoors, okay? Because believe it or not, animals can jump fences, and fireworks tend to scare them. And they don't mean to. They just kind of go, whoa, and just try to run for cover, okay? So keep them. Some people have even talked about how they have like soothing music. You know, keep them in a room, put on the soothing music, whatever you need to do, especially if you're a person who loves to fire the fireworks, or you're a person who likes to go out and watch them and leave the babies at home. All right. So just put them in a calm space, because, you know, I get it. Older sibling does not like fireworks, but she hates them even more because, you know, the babies, the little fur babies, right? Our little kitties do not like them, especially George. George just kind of super jittery about it. Me, on the other hand, I love fireworks. But, you know, keep your pets safe, all right? That's my first and foremost thing to you, all right? Keep your babies safe. Make sure they're chipped or have their tags on or whatever, some identifying feature, so if they do run away, you can identify them, hopefully when they're caught by somebody, or somebody can find them, take them in and say, oh, this belongs to so-and-so. So, you know, just practice responsible parenting, pet parenting, please. Please. And, don't drink and drive. Big one. Muddy doesn't like fireworks either. You know, I don't know what it is with me. I think it's because since I was a little kid, we used to always go to the stadium and watch the fireworks, especially for the 4th of July. But yeah, I've always loved them. I haven't seen fireworks in a long time, though, and they're starting to slowly be replaced with drone shows. So that's also pretty exciting to see what people can do with drones. I mean, what the hell? It's amazing. And they're very pet friendly. And that's why a lot of them are starting to do it now, because they are very pet friendly. But also, do not drink and drive. Party responsibly. Celebrate responsibly. And just for one day, okay? I'm just asking. I'm not asking you to change your entire lifestyle. Be nice. Be nice, okay? When you go into the store, if there's 5 billion people there and you're going there on the 4th of July, you should have shopped ahead. So be nice. Don't take it out on the cashier. Don't take it out on the people that work in the store. If they don't know where something is, they might be new. So don't yell at them. Don't be mean to them. Be kind. Imagine what would happen if all of us learned how to practice to be kind every single day. All right. So again, have a wonderful, wonderful day. T, Muddy, older sibling, thank you all 3 for coming on. For all of you that watch this later and on your own time, thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, happy Independence Day #1, courtesy of President John Adams, and from the way back days. And on Saturday, happy Independence Day #2. Yeah, have a great day. I'll see you back here on Monday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific Time, Facebook Live. All lives are public under Shelley Marie Lucas. Thank you for watching, and have a safe and wonderful weekend.